Yes, can you hear me? Yes, good morning and welcome to the block 1 of this session. And my name is Tuukka Turtiainen and I'm from Radiation Nuclear Safety Authority of Finland. And we will have 4 presentations, each lasting for 15 minutes, and then we have half an hour for discussions. And we will first welcome Sara Antignani from National Institute of Health, Italy. Please, Sara, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Tuukka. Good morning, everybody. In this presentation, I'll give you some new results of new analysis performed to explore some aspects on spatial and temporal variability or radon concentration. And I'm giving this presentation on behalf of the subtask 2.1.1 group made by several institutions. The colleagues are listed here, and the institutions are from Italy, Norway, Poland, Switzerland, and Finland. And I'd like to thank all the collaborators who actively contributed to this activity. There is an extensive literature on spatial and temporal radon variability with several aspects already explored. So just a few words to remind the importance of continuing investigating radon variability. Identifying potential sources of spatial and temporal variability and possibly quantifying them is essential to improve measurement protocols used for radio protection purposes. In fact, the measurement protocols are used for technical purposes are applied to evaluate the annual average radon concentration, which is the basis of any activity related to protection from radon exposure, including the comparison with some reference levels up to 300 becquerel per cubic meter set by the European directive. And on the other hand, measurement protocols for estimating annual average radon concentration vary from country to country, very widely from country to country, with respect to the period in which the measurements are taken, with respect to the duration of the measurements, and with respect also to the place where the detectors are positioned. And so we should ask, for example, if we perform, to what extent a measurement performed, for example, in a specific room, in a dwelling, over, for example, 2 months, let's say 2 months, is could be appropriately considered representative of the annual average, radon concentration average. So if protocol measurements ignore radon variability, this can lead to a misclassification of the exposure, and if we are interested in estimating the risk, this could imply an underestimation of the risk, and also this could lead to ineffective implementation of activities aimed at radiation protection. Spatial and temporal variabilities must be well known and should be consciously included when drafting measurement protocols that, of course, can serve different purposes, but this in order to reduce uncertainty in radon evaluation and so that we can obtain a more accurate estimate of the annual average radon concentration. And so this is why continuing exploring variabilities is not only desirable, but necessary. As I said, there are a huge amount of literature dedicated to several aspects of radon variability. And so we decided to focus on selected aspects, selected issues connected to temporal and spatial variability. And for each issue, we performed a literature review just to know the state of the art of knowledge for that issue. And then we performed new analysis based both on data sets already available to the partners and also on data collected within the framework of the RADONOM project. And these new measurements are generally primarily have been primarily collected to supplement existing data sets. So here the list of the topics we covered. So as regards temporal variability, we performed a new analysis on year-to-year variability, seasonal variability, by comparing the few months measurements taken over a few months with annual measurement, very short-term variability by comparing measurements taken over a few days with annual measurement, and also we focused on daily variability. And as regards the spatial variability, we had some new results on room-to-room variability within with the rooms in the same dwelling, and also with the dwelling-to-dwelling variability, where the dwelling are in the same building. So perhaps this is the least explored topic in literature. And then we had some new results on spatial variability in workplaces. And in the end, we examined also spatial variability in relation to geology. So here a very short summary of all the results of our analysis. So as regards the year-to-year variability, in Finland they analyzed 3 consecutive one-year measurements performed in the same room with passive detectors and in 202 homes, and they found moderate variability, year-to-year variability, with a coefficient of variation of 16%. And they also concluded that a greater variability could result if shorter measurement duration if the measurements are taken over a shorter period. Regarding seasonal variability, it appears limited in some regions such as Switzerland. And they suggested that this could be due to mild winter they had in the measurement period, and so that reduced the heating demand and the STUK effects. Whereas in Norway, the seasonal variability appears to be quite large, leading to high variability in the calculated seasonal correction factors. With a CB of 56%, and they also found that the variability of these correction factors are even higher if the analysis is restricted to the apartments in block of flats, that is the box plot in blue, with respect to apartments in terraced houses, that is the box plot orange. And also, they also found that the seasonal correction factors are somehow floor dependent. Okay. As regards the comparison between measurements over a few days with respect to annual one, in the Finnish analysis concluded that the very short-term radon measurements are not yet suitable alternatives to current protocols that suggest to use the annual measurement. Moreover, the market radon fluctuation observed in September that are potentially related to the climate change support postponing the start of the measurement season in Finland that currently start in September and last 4 months, right, Tuukka?
Till May.
Sorry. Okay. And as regards daily variability, the Italian analysis performed based on the measurements taken in some apartments show that the radon concentration during daytime is lower about 30% compared to the measurements taken over the night. And in these results, we observed some seasonal effect. In fact, the difference between measurements during day and during night is less evident in winter, likely due to more stable indoor conditions. And we didn't find any difference between radon concentration during working days compared to the measurements taken on the weekends, possibly due to the increased adoption of remote work in the post-COVID years that made the living habits during the week more similar to those on weekends. This is an hypothesis, of course. As regards the room-to-room variability, they compared the measurements taken in 2 different rooms. In Norway, they compared the measurements taken in 2 different rooms, and they concluded that the ratios between these 2 measurements is almost the same if the rooms are at the same floor or at different floors. As regards the variability between dwellings in the same building, it's not negligible. We found in one analysis found a CD of 28% and one analysis of 36%. And we found that the variability between dwellings in the same buildings is almost the same if the dwellings are at different floors or at the same floor. Moreover, Italian data found that about 50 to 25% of buildings had apartments with higher radon concentration at the upper floors with respect to ground floors. But especially the higher percentage is based on a small sample. Some analysis that also analyzed the variability between closed buildings, and they found that it's quite pronounced. So this support the conclusion that if we have a low concentration in one building, this cannot be assumed to imply a low concentration in the nearby building. And in workplaces, spatial variability is particularly high. Even with low average levels, there is a chance of greater than 20% of exceeding the reference level if in at least one room if multiple measurements are taken. And Polish analysis data collected in 34 buildings, public buildings, confirmed the hypothesis about the primary influence on radon levels in buildings of the local geological structure. So as I said, this is only a selection of the results. There are many more in the deliverable report, so if you are curious, please have a look. Thank you for your attention.